blessed with a championship prosperity the likes of which we have never seen, cursed by a past riddled with despair. This is Blursed.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Blursed. It is Tuesday, June 20th. We are here, Bleezy Blake and me, H-Cum.
Down. Back again, man. We're back. Look at
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
Look at us, man. On a holiday. Yeah, we're working on a holiday for you people, for the people. We're men of the people.
Can't stop the grind. You can stop Aaron, but you can't stop us.
Well, hey, Aaron would be here, but he's also a man of the people, and he's helping one of our loyal listeners move. So
Yeah,
shout
out, Charette.
No idea where he's moving to.
Good luck on your move. We're happy for you, or sorry about that.
Sorry you had to move. Yeah, sorry.
One of the two. Usually it's either a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, you listening. Either way, you being here and listening will make your day better. So whether it needs to be better or not.
So
yeah.
What you been up to?
Man, we dog sit for my mom this past weekend. So we went up to Salty, stayed in the cabin. We had a magic night on Friday. So it was like 12 of us playing Magic the Gathering. Yeah, Commander. So everyone was home to see their dad. So it was just a bunch of our friends.
God.
Yeah.
You guys are better kids than I am. Hey, tilt your camera down just a tad so people can see your beautiful face and beard.
Oh, there we go. Was it too high?
It was a bit. You know, there's a larger Magic the Gathering community in rural Georgia than you would imagine.
Oh,
I don't know
huge.
why. It doesn't seem like it would be a thing. I've played once, but
well, a lot of our friends when they watched us play were like, that didn't look fun. And then they tried and they're like, okay, I get it. Like it's one of the things that once you try, you understand.
Were you the original adopter?
No, so Dannon was the original adopter, but it was our play group in Athens that got it going for everybody. And so I was part of that group.
What's up, Dannon?
Yeah, shout out Dannon.
Always commenting on our Instagram posts and reels, so appreciate that, man.
Yeah, thank you for
keep gassing us up when we start posting again, because I've been exhausted from
trying to purchase tell everybody what's happening. Yeah,
just purchasing a house, close on Wednesday, but it's a lot of work and contracting and stuff like that. So I'm just organizing all that shit and just tired, you know. Tired all the time.
Yeah, I think our listeners can understand that.
That's what being 30 is. But yeah, Kinsey went out of town. She went back to Georgia for a couple days, and just me and the dog. So naturally, I've just been playing video games till my eyes start to bleed. That's it's been the approach. I gotta say, I can't stop playing the show now that I've started like the Diamond Dynasty stuff. I don't know why. It's gotten really good.
Wait, so did you talk shit about it?
Oh yes.
And then you
well, it's been years that like I just never touched Diamond Dynasty.
Are you just doing Diamond Dynasty though? The packs?
It's like a combination. So like, the way to get the best cards I found is to like do other game modes, and like there's a listing if you dig down really deep into it. It's like, oh, you can earn this many stubs or points or whatever to get more cards by doing this game mode. And then I found
so you can do those game modes.
Yeah, you do March to October, which is actually really cool. It's kind of like franchise mode, except you have like limited like front office ability. It's like you can turn it into a franchise afterwards or keep going, but basically it's like an abbreviated game mode where it's like you play key moments. So like you don't ever play a full game. They take you in like for opening day. It's like try to complete the comeback win, and you play like 3 innings.
Right.
Or it's like you're starting pitching and struggling. Play this starting pitcher that's in AA right now and see if you can like get him a quick promote. So you play like a full game as this AA pitcher, like just a random guy.
Super cool.
And it's like I had like 15 strikeouts with him or something like that. And then he got like promoted after that, and his overall jumped like 10 points. I was like, that's actually really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, but you can like make some trades and stuff too, and you get a rating. But yeah, then you get like a shit ton of points, and then I just like got all these really good cards at once. I was like, whoa, okay, because I was getting annoyed with like.
So is that part PvP? Like, so you're playing against someone else?
No, March to October is single. No,
I'm talking about like the packs. So once you,
it can be, yeah. So you can play head to head, and like I had tried doing that some, and I was like, oh my god, everybody's cards are so much better than mine. I was playing with like team overall rating was like an 80 and everybody else's is a 99. I was like, what? Well, I'm not going to be able to compete. Like, they can just hit everything. Everybody can hit, like, their hit ratings over 100 in every category. I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to be able to compete doing that.
You're either throwing 80-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of nice that you can like play a single player mode and still like earn towards that.
That's cool.
I prefer single player mode.
Right. And then when you have a good team, you could go do it if you wanted to.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what keeps me out of like Ultimate Team and stuff. Like, I just don't care for the PvP part.
Yeah, I mean, usually it gets broken pretty quickly.
Yeah. Right.
And I don't know. I prefer online seasons if we're gonna do that, but I'm just kind of out on Madden. I bought last year's and I wish I hadn't. I just played it like 5 times and I was like, this kind of sucks. It feels like the same thing. Like I feel like I would enjoy Madden 2005 better.
More probably.
Yeah. Like it feels like they just take stuff away and then they add it back in 10 years later and they expect that you forgot about it.
The Kelsey brothers talked about it recently on their podcast and just said, like, why is the NFL the least fun video game? Like, why is Madden the worst video game of all the sports video games? They're like, hockey's more fun and it's like less popular. Like, NFL is the most popular sport and it has the worst video game. It's not even close. No. It's not even close.
I mean, it's all EA, but I mean, I'm excited for their college football game to come out if it does. They've hit a roadblock on that recently. Did you see that? They offered EA Sports, they're producing the first college football game in 10 years, and it's going to sell like mad. And they offered every college football player $500. That's it. $500 to have their namesake in the game. That is ridiculous. That's bad. You got to be kidding me.
Bad.
Like, how much do NFL players get paid? Like, it's not going to be up to that standard, but like,
NIL's a thing now. Get royalties.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, I bet you they get royalties.
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of bizarre. So we'll see if we actually get a game or not. It kind of sucks for the players too, because I could see this going into like a lawsuit actually, because it's very easy for EA to just release a college football game as they used to with no player names.
Just get rid of the names. Like, just get rid of the names.
Immediately, like, there's downloads of every player in Division I football, and you can just download that, and then you have like live rosters essentially.
Yeah,
and that's what I
always did.
Yeah,
that's what I did.
Maybe wasn't right for us to do that, but we didn't understand that at the time. So
that's true.
Stand in solidarity with the players.
I understand it now too. So I wouldn't buy the game if it came out and their players aren't. I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah, I think I would do the same. But
out of solidarity,
that game was so much fun though.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Cinderella stories are always fun playthroughs.
Speaking of decisions to be in solidarity about, you want to talk about David Freese and him turning down the Cardinals Hall of Fame? Is that weird?
I don't even know what to say about it. Yeah, it's weird.
Like, the fans voted him in, and so maybe he felt like, and to be honest, like, David Freese wasn't the best player with the Cardinals, but he is the reason they won that World Series.
He's a legendary player because of that.
Because of that. Like, I will always know who David Freese is because of that World Series.
How many seasons did he play with the Cardinals?
I don't know. He still does stuff with the Cardinals.
So I think he grew up a Cardinals fan. Like, maybe he's from that area or grew up in that area. And so I think that was part of it, is like he respects the other players that have their or that are in their Hall of Fame too much, which I still thought was weird. I don't know.
He played for the Cardinals for the start of his career, so 2009 through 2013.
4 years. So basically
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years technically.
So here's the comparison in Braves terms. It'd be like if we retire, or if we had Eddie Rosario retired his number, or not retired his number, put it in the Braves Hall of Fame, because he was like a postseason hero, and at the end of his contract, he'll have played 4 years for us. So I do think that would be weird.
But what do you do with players like that? Because, like, they deserve some kind of, like, I feel like he deserves to be memorialized. But like, I'm not arguing he should be a Hall of Famer, but he should be some, even if he's not in the like Braves Hall of Fame for being like a Hall of Fame. I don't know, like, he should be in there somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, maybe is like I don't know. I feel like he deserves this.
Well, they have like World Series team weekends and stuff like that all the time. So like they'll get invited to that each year. So like they'll be there and they're in the inner circle, like if they want to be. And
they'll always be in videos of like what
Yeah,
happened, and like a Solaire's home run will always be forever. I mean, he was the MVP of the. That's the craziest part is that he's the MVP of the World Series and he doesn't even play. Like it was
he
one
played for us for
half a
about
season.
3 months. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty incredible. But
3 magic months.
yeah, and so
That's
like
crazy.
you're like a folklore hero essentially.
Right. But to
In
be fair to
Braves
David
country.
Freese, though, like one, he's a good player. Like he was all like he always bats. So I'm looking at his batting average 323, 296, 297, 293, 262. He had 20 home runs once. Like I mean, I guess he never had like major RBIs. I agree what he's saying. Like when you look at his statistics, does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame
Yeah.
for them? Probably not.
And if
But
it's like you don't have the same stats as the other people that are in the Hall of Fame, then it's like maybe he has some longevity. That's why I asked about like how long he played for the Cardinals. And if it's only like 4 or 5 seasons, that's not really
yeah,
long enough to me to be that standard. Although, like, if I was him and somebody invited me to be in the Hall of Fame when I didn't have that long of a career, I would 100% do it, of course.
yeah.
But
I
yeah, I
think
don't
it's
know.
noble. I think it's noble,
Maybe
honestly.
the weekend just
And
didn't work for him. He didn't know how to say that he just couldn't make it that weekend. So,
oh, he's
uh,
like, yeah, I just don't.
yeah, I don't want to do it.
Probably not.
And they're
Probably
like,
not.
wait, what?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm with you. I think it's honorable, and I don't think it's a like massive deal. Maybe the fans now feel betrayed because they voted him in. Like,
That's true.
but maybe the team set them up for failure though. Like, why is that even an option to be able to vote players in the Hall of Fame? It kind of seems weird,
It is weird, actually. Yeah. Why?
right?
I don't. Yeah, I don't think the
I
Braves do
said
that.
maybe he felt like he didn't deserve it. He's like, no, the team doesn't want me in. Like, y'all are voting me in. Like,
Yeah. Also, I read like Edgar Renteria isn't in the Cardinals Hall of Fame, and he had like a much longer tenure there, which doesn't really make sense. He didn't win the. Well, maybe he did win one World Series with them. I can't remember.
wait, didn't Edgar play with us?
Yeah, he came to the Braves afterwards, but he was a way better, longer term player with the Cardinals than he was with us.
See, I didn't know that because I guess my Braves fandom probably started coming around when I was like 9 or 10.
I
I
know
would say,
you're just a young man. That was
yeah.
Blake was 9 or 10 back in 2018.
Uh, that was 2006 when he joined the Braves.
Jeez, time just
Yeah.
keeps going by, doesn't it?
Yeah, Renneria. I didn't realize he played. He played with Cardinals for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think he probably had multiple All Star appearances and stuff. Like he's pretty good back
Yeah, he
in
was the
those days.
MVP in 2002.
What? He was the MVP. He won an MVP award.
I think this is what this is. Hold up.
Damn.
Oh no, hold up. Never mind. Sorry.
I was about to say, like 2002. That doesn't sound right.
He got voted. He was 15th in MVP voting in 2003.
That sounds closer. Yeah.
Yeah, top 15 players. That was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, pretty good.
Good.
Better than David Freese, probably.
Absolutely. David Freese. Let's see. I don't think he got voted for anything. He made an All-Star appearance 2012.
There we go. Yeah, he got red hot for 2 years, and then the league figured him out. Which
Yeah.
I
mean, he always maintained a decent average though every year. Like his lowest batting average in a season was 257.
that's not bad,
That's not bad.
but it's not like Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah, because he's not hitting bombs, he's not stealing a ton of bases. He's just kind of,
You got to hit those dingers.
yeah. Like he would have been a secondary player for the Braves during that time.
He would have been coming off the bench
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
behind
Like,
Chipper.
yeah, exactly. No, for sure. And he'd be warm up the spot for all Austin.
Yeah.
Keep it warm for him.
Anyways,
Speaking of the Braves, though, I want to ask your opinion on Spencer Strider. There's a lot of nasty things being said that
he
like
struggled.
that he's washed or that like that he's I don't know. People are like starting to say it's like one, he's had 2 bad games, and really that he he just had really bad innings, like 1 or 2 bad innings. It wasn't even the whole game, and so I think. What is your opinion on what's happening? And I have my own opinions, but I want to know what yours are.
I mean, he's not washed. His velo's down a little bit. He's figuring out how to be a starting pitcher for the entirety of MLB season, which that can be like between 20 and 30 starts per season. So it's he didn't stay healthy all last year either. He kind of blew out at the end. He got touched up a little bit in his first couple starts this year, his first start, I think. And he was trying to work on keeping easing up a little bit, keeping his velo down, like not putting as much stress on his arm. And then he had to turn it on to like find it again. So I think,
Absolutely.
if there's a time for him to be figuring it out, it's right now when we have a big lead in the division and we're just playing super well. It's not affecting the team that he's struggling.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with him figuring it out. He's got to work on his changeup and like he's got to figure out how to focus on location if he's going to reduce his workload or his work stress by taking a few miles per hour off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a strikeout pitcher, right? So that doesn't necessarily play the same as like, if you want to go deeper into games when you're trying to bring it down a little bit, bring it back, reel it in. Then you got to locate and you got to figure out how to get ground balls, weak contact.
Right, 100%.
And that's something that Max Fried is really good at.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things I 100% agree with you. He's not washed, and like he's a young pitcher. Like he's going to struggle sometimes, and even against teams you don't think he should struggle against, like sometimes it's just going to happen. I think one thing that might be hard for him right now is there's just a lot more pressure this year on him than last year. Like if you think about it from just a mental perspective, and you're a kid, and there's a lot of pressure. Like you're the Braves, and you go to the World Series, and you're two guys who carried a lot of weight last year who helped make it a little easier for you are both out, Kyle Wright and Fried. So I think that has to affect him some, because both him and Charlie Morton both have struggled recently. Both of them in particular. I don't know, Morton feels like an every other game kind of guy, but I just think there's a lot of pressure right now for those guys.
Oh yeah, Strider's far and away our ace right now, which that is more pressure, and he gets tougher matchups. And he gets more focus on him. But yeah,
and he hasn't been able to take those days off that he might have gotten, like a day here, like, you know what I mean, like how people sometimes postpone a start like for 6 days instead of 5. Like, you can't have any of that luxury because it's been all hands on deck.
Yeah, it really has. But luckily we've had a few standouts that have come out of nowhere again this year, which just it happens every year with the Braves. So we have Bryce Elder who's been throwing well, and AJ Smith-Shawver has been really good.
He's been so good.
Which that's a pretty incredible story. He didn't start pitching until his junior year of high school.
3 years ago.
Yeah, that's so
3 years ago. Now he's pitching for a World Series caliber team. That's nuts. Yeah. No, he's doing incredible. No, I think you're right. I think Strider will come. I think he'll figure it out. And I also think when Kyle Wright and Max Fried join the team again, like it's gonna. That's the incredible part. And we were talking about this in the bullpen warming up, that the Braves offense doesn't give it. They don't care at all about the pitching because they're going to score more runs. They believe they can score more runs every single game, and
they scored like 40 runs against the Rockies in a 4-game series, I think.
Yeah, no, and the worst part is I heard that in the first 3 games, the Braves like scored all the 30 to 33 runs that were scored in the first 3 games happened in the first 4 innings or something like that. Or 30 to 28 or whatever. Like there's only 3 difference, and apparently like Braves players were getting bored at the end of the game because the game was so far away. They're like, it's 10-2. Like, what else?
Yeah, let's
like, what are we supposed to do?
Let's hit some ground balls, hit the showers.
Yeah. Right. And at least at the game Sunday, it was competitive for a little bit.
Man,
5-0 on Father's Day. I was a little worried watching with my dad, and then
it just feels like our hitters right now, they're all finding it, and except for Austin, kind of, and Ronnie also is a little bit off this weekend, which. That's what happens, but he's been carrying the team all year. But everybody else picked him up, especially Eddie Rosario. He had a home run in each of the games, I think, and then he had 2 on Sunday.
Yeah, I think he had 5 in this. No, I think he had 4 in the series.
Yeah, 4 in the series. Yeah.
So,
but he's homered in 3 straight games, I think.
Yeah.
So
and
awesome.
Michael Harris, dude, since we went to that game, since Jess and I went to that game, his batting average has gone up 80 points, I think.
Yeah. Did you hear like the thing that kind of got him motivated?
Yeah, the Ozuna talked to him.
Yeah, Ozuna pulled him aside and told him that he was the best center fielder in the game, and you got to start acting like it. And then that kind of like helped him flip a switch, I guess. I don't know.
Well, but I think he said some other stuff too, like you're still hitting the ball really hard, effectively. Like you just got to keep doing that, keep believing, like it's got to happen for you. Like,
yeah. Well, that's coming from a guy that had his own struggles the last few years. On and off the field, but
absolutely,
he's kind of found it here of late too. So I mean, nothing wrong with having a ton of depth.
Yeah.
What else? Sean Murphy went down this weekend. Looks like he's gonna have like an IL stint, maybe. Just hamstring.
I don't know though.
They
I don't
brought
know
up
that
Trump.
I saw that, but the fact that they
sent
didn't
down somebody
announce him
else, maybe.
they haven't announced him to the IL yet though.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
So
I'm
hopeful that maybe it's not going to be that. Also, Michael Harris batting average is up to 249.
Wow.
It was 163 when we went to the game.
Damn. Yeah, he's
and he talked to him the night before, and so his last 14 games, he is batting 440. In his last 7 games, he's batting 556.
Jesus. I think that's how far his home run went on Sunday. I don't know if you saw that clip. He hit it like just to the left of the chop house where there's like a small alley.
Oh yeah.
That thing could have like bounced out of the whole park.
Oh yeah, it could have gone into the battery.
But he did hit it over, like seriously, he hit it over 450 feet, which the Braves have the most home runs, like over 450. Like they have double the amount of everybody else. Also, if there's this graphic going around of like the most balls hit over 100 miles per hour per team,
and it's all Braves.
It's like the Braves are number 1, and it's double what number 2 is. Everybody else is like double, or we're twice as much as everybody else.
There's teams that are gonna be sus about the Braves. Like,
yeah, people
that's crazy.
Well, every time we play the Mets, they're like, "Oh, the Braves cheat at home" and stuff like that. It's like, well, we have just as good a record on the road as we do at home. So I don't know if
it's been better this year, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The construction is working, and all these young pitchers that are coming up and playing well, it's got to piss some people off. But when our guys, Max Fried and Kyle Wright, come back, it's just building so much depth.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
You're building experience with these young guys.
That's what keeps happening each year.
It's the circle of life. That's what happens. And then like it just keeps happening over and over again. And it's happening in years that the Braves are supposed to be completely depleted in the minor leagues. Like don't expect anything. So
maybe too, like to this point, there's something about not going after like that veteran pitcher late, like you see a lot of teams do that are competing, going for a run. Whereas like the last 3, you're right, because like it's been like the last 3 or 4 years where we've had a couple pitchers go down, young guys come up, and then they're good. Like, and maybe AA is just like, you know what, like this has been working. Let's just keep it going. Like,
he can tell when somebody has something.
He trusts that's gonna work. Young guys,
but
I'm sure he wouldn't if he thought otherwise.
So we got about another month in a couple days until the trade deadline, I believe. So we'll see if anything.
How about we go after some arms? Maybe not starting pitching, but
we might need some bullpen help. I would love for us to bring Luke Jackson back. He is dealing in San Francisco. San
Francisco's playing well though.
Are they?
Yeah, they're actually doing well now. They're in second place ahead of the Dodgers.
Oh,
yeah.
They've really turned it on.
Let me catch you up on everything. So Braves are leading the National League with 46 wins, so 46 and 26. Marlins are the closest team, 5 games back from us. Phillies are 8 games back at 38 and 34, and the Mets are 12 and a half back at 33 and 38.
Ah, man, that feels good.
Yeah, they were at 500 when that series against us started. So Brewers are leading the Central, but they're tied they're half a game ahead of the Reds. So the Reds are in second place. Pittsburgh has fallen to third. They're just under 500. Cubs are still below 500. And then Diamondbacks have been the surprise team, I feel like, of the National League this year. They're 43 and 29, so they're 3 games behind us. And they're leading the West with the Giants tied. The Giants are half a game ahead of the Dodgers. And then the Padres, who are another big disappointment, same with the Mets, are 35 and 36.
Two big spenders that are not getting it done. So
the Phillies have been red hot as well as us. Like they've been matching us win by win recently.
But the Braves never lose.
So true. American League, Rays are still the best team in baseball. They're 51 and 24. So they're winning 68% of the time. But their whole division is ahead of above 500. So Orioles 44 and 27, Yankees 39 and 33, Blue Jays 39 and 34, and the Red Sox are 37 and 35. I'd hate to be a Red Sox fan. You're like, we're good, and we can't even
it's
make up the ground. The most brutal part is the Red Sox have a 37-35 record. The Central best team is 36-36.
That makes it worse.
Yeah, the Twins. And that's the Twins are the only team at 500 in that division. And then the AL West, the Rangers, probably like a surprise team to some, but some people thought they'd be good based on the pitching signings they had. DeGrom is out for the year, but they're still winning 44-27. Angels are in second place, 41-33, the longest they've been above 500. And as long as I can remember, I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like they've always been bad. Maybe that's not true. I feel like maybe a lot of times they choke during the year.
Oh,
so we'll see. And the Astros are in third place in that division, 5.5 back from the Rangers.
They'll be there.
A lot of competitive baseball this year, honestly. And then a couple of teams where you're shaking your head like you were supposed to take a step forward. Like the Mariners are another team you thought would take a big step forward this year. Like if you ask me, I thought the Mariners would probably be second place in that division behind the Astros, but the Rangers and Angels are first and second.
Yeah, it's been a pretty competitive division. So, a team like the Mariners, they can get hot though, and they could win every game for a month. But yeah, it's a pretty good landscape. And one of the things to note too is like now we're in the second year of the expanded playoffs, and so you see less teams that are willing to trade at the deadline.
Yeah.
And so there's the obvious candidates, so the A's, Nationals, those type of teams, but there's not much talent on them to begin with at this point. So there's not as many teams selling off all their pieces.
Yeah, no, literally, the Mets actually might become sellers if they keep this up. Like, don't you have to?
I don't know. So that's the risk, right? You can spend a shit ton of money and have the best team on paper, and then it just can not happen, which is what's going on with the Padres and the Mets right now. And so when that happens, it's like you're gonna have to make some tough decisions. But yeah, Steve Cohen is a billionaire, so it doesn't really matter. He can probably just write it off at a loss.
But who's the leader in that locker room? Like, who's leading that team? I don't even know.
Probably Pete Alonso, but he's also kind of a chud. I don't know if that's a word, but I think it's very descriptive of what he is.
It sounds right.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Like, I feel like they could be surprise sellers, but I feel like other than that, the Cardinals, for sure. Like 29-43 right now, but they're only 8.5 back because the Central's been bad, but still, they've been a big disappointment. They probably could be sellers.
Yeah,
but you're right. Like, there's less teams that are going to sell, more teams are going to want to buy. So you're actually have to give up more too, I feel like.
Yeah, probably it's going to be more expensive. Which A is usually good at adding the right piece, not necessarily, the most expensive piece. So like Robbie Grossman last year was a good addition. We didn't make it deep in the playoffs, but he was really good down the stretch.
He was.
Just like little things like that. So he's gonna wait until probably the last day to make sure he has all the information available of who's healthy and who's not. See what we need to meet there. But yeah,
absolutely.
We're in a good spot though. Feels good to be not chasing a team from behind and just leading relatively comfortably.
My Marlins are keeping us honest though, which is good. I think it's good to have a team that's kind of always nipping at your ankles a little bit. No, I'm I can beyond thrilled at how proud I am to be a Braves fan right now. Like, it seems unreal that we're doing this well based on how injuries have gone this year, but the batting is just it's out of the world, man.
Hey, sometimes the pitching picks up the hitters, and then the hitters pick up the pitching, and then you just never lose. So that's
let's talk about
a strategy
where both offense and defense matters all the time, and that's basketball.
Oh,
Hawks. Hawks. But first, before we talk about the Hawks, let's talk about the Suns. So the Suns recently traded from the Wizards, got Bradley Beal. This is just a bizarre trade. Like,
how bizarre?
So it's bizarre because of this. So the Suns received Bradley Beal, Jordan Goodwin, and Isaiah Todd. And like Jordan Goodwin's actually a decent young player, so it's going to be good depth for them this year. And the Wizards got Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, multiple second-round picks, and some pick swaps. And so, like, one, it's gross because the Wizards, this is the problem with no trade clauses for these teams, is that Bradley Beal could only be traded to what places he wanted to go, or he wasn't going to trade it. And the Wizards are like, all right, we're not ever going to make it. We need to rebuild, so let's move Beal. But this is their best offer they got was Chris Paul, which they're probably going to waive. Like, I don't see them keeping Chris Paul. I don't see it happening. I see them signing him and then cutting him, and then that deal, it'll get off their books next year. Landry Shamet, maybe he's just going to be a depth piece for them this year. And then they got multiple second round picks and some swaps. So they get any first, 0 first.
They're not going to be super valuable first if they did get them, though, right? I mean, because they'd probably pretty late.
No,
like
right, but like
later.
no future first though. You would assume because you can trade up to 7 years ahead in basketball. So like you would assume you'd get some future first, and there's none. And so it's just
grab some on the back end of it after they miss their window and lose, and then they rebuild. And they're really bad.
Not great. And so then the weird part for the Suns for me is that yes, you got the better player. You got Bradley Beal, which is, I mean, this is a huge addition. I mean, he's a all-star NBA all-type player. But you have what is it? You have Bradley Beal, Booker, KD, and Ayton under contract. That's 4 players, but those 4 players combined for $162.9 million. So you got to pay your other I mean, you need 15 players for a basketball team.
What's the cap?
The cap now is 172, I think. I think it's 10. I think they have $10 million to go now.
But I mean, you can go over it, right? You just pay
that's the luxury tax. Let me see. Hold up. Let me pull that up. Inverse salary cap. Luxury tax. Luxury tax for. Can you just tell me the newest season, please?
They have Chat GPT up at all times.
Just kidding. Yeah, I can't find. Wow, this is a lot harder to find than I thought it'd be.
That's all right. Don't worry about it, guys. Look it up on your own. This is on you guys if you're listening.
All right, so 134 million is the. All right, so 134 million is the cap, and so they're at 162 already. 162 million is the tax level with set records. So that's already going to be a new record high. And then the hard cap is like 172.
Oh.
Yes. So they have like $10 million to sign 10 players, which is not enough. So what they could do is move Ayton, which I think they will, like in a 4-team trade. Because Ayton really doesn't fit the team, in my opinion. Like you have Beal, Booker, and KD, who are all offensive scorers. That's all they do.
You don't need a center that scores. You need a center that rebounds.
Exactly. I honestly, Clint Capella, like them trying to trade for Clint Capella can make sense, but I don't know if they could afford a Clint Capella. I mean, Clint's getting paid $20 million. So yeah. So like if you move Ayton, that frees up 30 more million. So then you have 40 million for 11 players. So that's between 3 and 4 million a player.
Would you want
not
Ayton?
Much? The Hawks fan, no. So that'd be like a multiple team trade. It would be like we wouldn't get Ayton, we'd get someone else from somewhere else, but we'd move the $20 million. So that makes sense. Yeah, and maybe we get a first. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could see us being involved. I'm just from a Hawks perspective, I could see us being very involved in a lot of trades and just trying to be in a partner and somehow because like we also have players that 1-for-1 are going to be harder to move, like John Collins and DeAndre Hunter, if that's the route we tend to go. And so you might see us in these like 2 or 3 team trades, moving a player and getting a couple different weird things back, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it's a weird trade for the Suns. I'm not saying it's not going to work out for them, but I don't think it will. I just don't.
It feels like a weird fit. Injury at the current moment, like including Ayton, then if you have one injury or one guy goes down that matters, then you're kind of toast.
Yeah. All right, it says if a team uses their biannual or non-taxpayer trade will be considered to be hard capped and must be kept below 169. It's the new tax apron. So there's like new aprons for the tax. And yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what they're going to do. That's crazy. But they're doing this to prevent like super teams and stuff like that. And I think personally, when you watched the playoffs this last year, when you looked at the Heat or the Nuggets, even Boston, yeah, you see a big 2, like the stars are important, but besides 2 stars, it was like a depth lot, like teams with a ton of depth.
Why do you feel like they don't want super teams anymore? Just so you don't have like repetitive matchups in the finals like we did for the last 10 years?
Yeah, so that stat we talked about recently where it's like Adam Silver has had 7 different finals teams in 10 years, and David Stern had only 8 in 31 years before him.
Yeah, that's fair.
So like it helps parity in the league. It does.
Yeah.
And they're also doing it while increasing the pay for players. So it's like helping the players get paid more, but also helps these teams be more competitive. I'm a fan of it overall. I just think it's weird for the Suns now during this to be like, all right, let's go get Beal, because Beal and Booker are very similar players in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Both
They
elite
take a lot of
scorers,
shots.
take a lot of shots. Yeah, Kevin Durant, I guess, will take less shots now, and the older he gets, but he's still a high. I mean, he's a high percentage shooter. I would say
He's like 6'9" and he has like
yeah.
crazy wingspan. He can get
But I
a
think
3-pointer off for 10 more years.
absolutely, but I think they're gonna lack like physical toughness and like rebounding. I don't. So they're gonna have to go maybe get like a Robin Lopez like that. He's gonna cost a lot. Like that's the thing too, is when you're at this point, you can't pay a mid-level exception. You have to pay only vet minimums. And Anthony pointed out in the Discord today when we were talking about this, you could go like a John Wall if he's willing to go there on the vet min. But I mean, is John Wall getting you Jazz as your starting point guard? Like the depth in that team just worries me. I don't know how it's going to work out. So
it's interesting. I guess they're trying to zig where everybody else is zagging, or probably the other way around.
Yeah. Did you, another news in the NBA right now, did you see Michael Jordan selling the majority ownership of the Hornets?
Oh, why?
I don't know, but he's making $3 billion off this sale. So he 11 times his money when he bought in for 275 million in 2010. Yeah. And all they've done the whole time he's been there is lost. Like dude, it kills me. Like he never had
in the last 20 years, has there been a sports franchise that has sold at a loss? I doubt it.
No, they always sell for profit. I mean,
it seems like a good
it's venture. A great investment.
Maybe we should get into it.
Yeah, right. Let's all right, Blursed Nation, we all go in together.
Yeah, everybody gets one share.
Yeah,
sure. Blake and I have majority ownership.
Yeah,
of the Braves.
Yeah, we own the Braves now.
They'll be cheap.
Yeah, just like a nickel or something like that. Probably not much. Yeah, I do. I know. I get that. I understand why, but I just think it's funny to me. They never won anything the whole time Jordan was there, and he made 11 times his money off of it. Great investment.
Some stuff just works out for people. You just have to be a world-class athlete.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little Hawks. I feel like the draft this year to me is a little less interesting because you already know Victor Wembanyama is going number 1 overall. You know where he's going. And the Hawks don't have a great pick. Like we're pick 15, so we're right outside the what's it called?
Talent window.
That's not what it's called. The lottery. Sorry. Yeah, man. Mondays, and I'm not even working today. It's the Mondays. We're out of the lottery, so you miss out on that top end talent. And not saying there's not talent, because we got John Collins, Kevin Huerter. Like we've gotten good players later, but we are outside that top tier of players. And so, but we've been rumoring a couple pick or trades, and one of them was actually with the Dallas Mavericks, where we trade up like John Collins or Clint Capella, and we get their 10th round pick or their first round 10th pick.
So that would be pick.
Yeah, they had the 10th. They didn't make playoffs this last year.
Wow, man.
The Mavs didn't. Yeah. So
that's interesting. Like, you're talking about parity and not having super teams. So like, they weren't able to make the playoffs even with Kyrie.
Kyrie, yeah. They just had no defense.
It's kind of funny.
They had no defense.
I mean, without super teams, you would think that like one star would be able to carry. Like if you're like top 5 star in the league, you would be expected to carry your team into the playoffs. Essentially,
LeBron used to be, and I don't know. And here's the thing: like maybe the NBA is harder now than it was 10, 15 years ago, and maybe not to the same extent as what it is from here to the 80s. Because let's be honest, they weren't jump shooting like they are today back in the 80s. They just weren't.
Yeah.
But what I'll say is I think there's the most good NBA players in the history of the sport there's ever been. Like there's a lot of talent out there, a lot of good players who so
who's the best player in the league? Jokic?
Right now?
Yeah.
Jokic. Probably Joker. Yeah.
Go Nugs.
Yeah, but what's the name? His running mate is like a top 20 player, probably top 25.
Jamal Murray.
That's the key. Yeah, Jamal Murray is having that gap, and then they had great depth. Like their whole like starting unit was probably in the top 100 players. So, I mean that's a big deal. So this one, another rumor that was out there is that the Hawks. This just says could move on Yako Kongwu, DeAndre Hunter, Sadiq Bey. I could see us. I don't see a Kongwu as much as Hunter. Like I think Hunter's actually the odd man out of those 3, which is kind of crazy to say because he was a number 4 pick for us. But Sadiq Bey last year, he's more guaranteed of a bucket than Hunter is, and he does a better job rebounding than Hunter does. But way worse defender. And then Okongwu, I just don't see us moving him unless we're getting a center in return, or we're sticking with Clint. And I don't know. I just feel like Clint at this point is a downgrade over Okongwu.
I thought you were pretty happy with him at the end of this
I
season, right?
am. I don't want to
Like he
trade
should be
Okongwu.
starting, right?
Yes. No, I mean that's how I feel. I'm just
Yeah.
saying like they're saying we could move him. I'm thinking of reasons why, but I don't.
Yeah.
To me, I don't know a good reason why.
Especially,
Yeah,
like
I
he
don't.
gets paid less than Clint. Like why? Why not
Yeah, I
just?
mean the issue is the Hawks are going to be up against the tax because we have all these bigger contracts and we have players that are going to be extended. So you do have to make some hard decisions, whether it's like keep Okongwu or trade off Hunter because you can only keep one of them based on the contracts.
Hunter's
Personally, I'd keep Okongwu over Hunter, but
he's the what does he play? Forward? Shooting forward?
forward, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like center is more important at this point. Then you can fill that gap with maybe a free
It's just
agent.
we could get based on how good Hunter is. I think we could get a replacement, maybe not as good as him, but on a better contract. You know what I mean?
Is that why people think that DeJounte Murray is going to get traded?
Yeah, we have to extend him next year would be the thing. And so
So
if
he
we
has
don't
value this year if we trade him, get something in
absolutely,
return.
yeah, exactly.
You
That's the
see
thing
that
about
happening
NBA.
if we don't get somebody like Jaylen Brown?
I see if we don't get another star, I don't see Murray going anywhere.
Okay. Would
Now,
you want to level up a tier? It feels like he's not.
Yeah,
He's like borderline all star, right?
yeah. I know. I think here's
Maybe.
my thing. My opinion is this: like, if you could just like, if I can have my ideal scenario, I'd love to see them run it back one more year, Trey and DeJounte. I just feel like they didn't unlock it all that they could unlock, and I
Yeah.
think with having Quinn as coach for a whole year and the offseason together, and I don't know, I think it'd be really good. But with that being said, if the team and they've talked about it and they internally don't think it's a great fit, and we could go get an upgrade, yeah, absolutely. Even if that means trading Hunter too or trading John Collins, because you already know these guys got to get moved anyways.
Yeah.
So I'm perfectly okay with that. Like we need some kind of shakeup in a regard, but it needs to be calculated. Like you can't just. We need to make sure we have a little bit of everything on the team, and right now we have a lot of overlapping
Yeah.
players.
Fair.
Another rumor is that Suns targeting John Collins. I doubt that happens now, especially after the move we saw them make last night. And then the Hawks are in on Pascal Siakam. So this is something that I would absolutely love. Love if we went after Siakam. He plays the same position as John Collins, but he also can play the center. But I think he'd pair perfectly with Okongwu. He's better than John Collins at playmaking. He's a better shooter than John Collins. So he'd really complement Trey really well. I think Collins is probably a better defender, but when you have Okongwu as your secondary guy, it doesn't matter. Siakam's also taller. And this would give us legitimately, and I think you might have to move Murray though if you did this. But at that point, like I'm okay with it because if you look at the rest of our team, you would have Trey as your one, Bogey would be your two, or you could have Griffin be your two. Like you can start playing these younger guys.
Would you rather DJM be included in a trade like that, or both John Collins and DeAndre Hunter?
I'd rather lose John Collins and DeAndre Hunter. Like if you could keep DJM, then you do it. Like you have to.
That's my thought too. Because if he's power forward coming in, you replace,
yeah, and then
John Collins, and then you can slot in,
Yeah, I absolutely because then the offense would be incredible. Yeah, I mean, my preference is keep DJM if we can. The only way I'm getting rid of DJM is if it's someone like Jaylen Brown. Like that would be, you know what I mean? Or like who else was someone gonna remember? I don't know. It would have to be that level, that caliber of a player. Yeah, absolutely. Something. Let's see if there's any. I had a couple other things up here. Someone else we're linked to would be Derek Lively. We love Duke players. This guy plays center power forward for Duke. He's a great. He'd be basically like we'd promote Okongwu trade Clint Capella, and he'd become now Okongwu's backup probably.
Yeah.
And he'd be then your guy that you would move on from Okongwu at the end of that next contract, and he would fill in. And so it'd be kind of like that style. I'd be really interested in that also too for moving into Okongwu as our full time center. You need a taller power forward center like to be his backup, someone that complements him, and he would be that. So that'd be the name I'm interested in right now. I honestly need to do more listening on it, but I just haven't been interested in our draft as much this year. And the only reason why is because I believe where we're currently getting mocked at, we're probably going to trade up. And so I just don't know what the accurate mock is. Like Hawks are either going to trade away picks and go get another star, or they're going to trade up and try to, like we've been talking about in the pod, retool. And like you're going to lose talent at first, but I think you're going to have a more successful year just because the group you have will have more cohesivity. It'll make more sense, more flow. Yeah. And then the next year would be your big window. Like, so I think the playoffs will still be our like goal for this coming year. And then the year after that would be like, let's go get a ring.
What do you think the focus is on, like range shooting?
Defense, point of attack defending. So someone's got to be better at defending the guy bringing the ball down the court. And Trey got better as the season went on. Like we saw a major increase in his defensive play when Quinn came in, and I'm hoping that continues.
Yeah.
And I think it's because once in his life, Trey's getting coached by someone who's like trying to help him understand why this is unlocking and trying to reach him where he's at. 2, we need better 3-point defending. It's horrible. Like we gave up so many 3-pointers, and then we need on the flip side of that 3, like actually making 3-pointers. So like that 3 and D is super important. Someone who can make the 3 ball and then defend the 3 ball. And then at center, we want once more defensive, bigger rebounding guys.
Yeah.
Or someone who can shoot. And like you need both though. That's the thing, is you just need to have both.
Yeah.
We need more shooters. I mean, it's obvious with Trey as your point guard, you want more shooters on the court always, because Trey can give anyone on the court the ball at any point, like wide open. Like you see it all the time. So that's what we're hoping for. And we're hoping our own players develop some this offseason too, to be better at that. We have a lot of young talent. So I'm excited going into the draft. I'm excited to see, like my prediction right now is the Hawks are going to make a move. Like,
are we going to
either
sign
right before
Draymond?
The draft or on the draft? Sign him?
You see, he opted out.
Did he really?
Yeah, that was like today. That. Yeah, unless I got by a parody account. But
declines player option to become free agent. Now, see, Draymond Green is someone who I've been preaching would be great with Trey. He can't shoot, but he does all the stuff that Trey would need help on: rebound, defense. He also is a playmaker, so he can pass it to Trey. So then you have both DJM and Draymond who can do that. I would love that. But see, the thing is, how much does Draymond want on this next contract? Because if it's too much, we can't afford him. Like, is he going to play somewhere for the mid-level exception at $8 million? I don't think so.
Is that what we would have to get him at? We'd have to make some moves. He'll be available probably after the draft. So we'll make some moves in the draft and see what the cap's looking like.
We'll see how it frees up. Yeah, 100%. Because that could now be a potential option.
We get out from under the contracts of Hunter and Collins on draft night, and that opens up a lot of possibilities.
No, 100%. So that's the weird part. Or not weird part, is the fun part is this is really where the NBA gets hot, is this week leading into the 2-3 weeks leading to July 1st, I think, is like when you can start tampering and actually doing stuff.
Yeah.
So you hear a lot of rumors these next couple of weeks, which is fun. And I think the Hawks will be involved in a ton of it because it's very obvious we're selling players. So
we'll see. We need something to heat up to have more to talk about.
Yeah, honestly, we do. It'd be nice. Well, next podcast will definitely be a lot of Hawks talk, guys. We got a lot to go over next time. Hawk talk. You have anything else you want to say before we depart on this Tuesday?
No.
All right, everyone. Stay weird. Stay happy. I hope you enjoyed the pod. If you liked it, share it with your friends. If you didn't, subscribe and like anyways. If you didn't like it and you stayed to listen this long, happy for you. Good for you.
Yeah, you just wasted an hour of your life. So
Gotcha.
All right, everybody. Have a good week.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
Later.
Before you go, if you enjoyed our episode, please subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, and share with your friends. If you'd like to see these mugs, all of our video podcasts are now available on YouTube, where you can like, comment, and subscribe. For more content, follow at Blursed Sports on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. You can also follow us individually at Blursed Blake, at Blursed Hayden, and at @A_Kais. If you're interested in chatting with us directly, join our new Discord community by typing discord.io/BlursedSports into your browser. As always, a huge shout out to our music man, Oh No, for keeping the vibe right and laying down straight slappers every week. You can find his information in the show notes. Thanks again so much for listening, and see you next week.